told my Nan that her favorite grandchild has been stealing from her for years. My cousin Kieran has always been the golden one. Nan's eyes lit up differently when he walked into a room and everyone in the family knew it, including Kieran, who had spent 30 years making sure it stayed that way. He called her every Sunday. He sat beside her at every Christmas. He was the one she talked about to her friends. I didn't resent it because there was no point. That was just how it was, and everyone had accepted it. My Nan is 81 and lives alone in the same house she's been in for 40 years. Sharp mind, bad hips, completely independent in the way elderly people are when independence is the last thing they feel they have left. She manages her own money, pays her own bills, and has always been proud of that. She'd mentioned a few times over the past year that things felt tighter than they should. She said she must be spending more without realizing. I believed her the first time. Then my mom noticed Nan's rings were gone. Nan said she'd put them somewhere safe and couldn't remember where. My mom let it go. 2 months later, the emergency cash Nan kept in the kitchen drawer was missing. Nan said she must have moved it. I said nothing because I had no proof and Kieran was her favorite and I knew how that accusation would land if I was wrong. What made me certain was a Tuesday afternoon in March. I stopped by Nan's unannounced to drop off her medication and Kieran's car was in the drive. I let myself in through the back. I could hear him in the front room and I stood in the hallway for a moment before I walked in. He was at her bureau, drawer open. Nan was in the kitchen making tea and couldn't see him from where she was standing. He heard me come in and closed the drawer and turned around and smiled and said he was just looking for a pen. I looked at the bureau and looked at him and he held the smile. I didn't say anything in that moment. I should have. I didn't. I spent 3 days going back and forth. I wrote out what I knew. The rings, the drawer, the cash, the bureau. I called my mom and told her what I'd seen. She went quiet for a long time and then said she didn't know how Nan would take it. I told her Nan deserved to know. My mom said maybe we should talk to Kieran first. I told her I wasn't warning him. I went to see Nan on the Friday. We had tea and I let her talk for a while before I said I needed to tell her something and I needed her to hear me out before she responded. She put her cup down. I told her everything in order, without editorializing. The rings, the missing cash, what I had seen at the bureau on Tuesday. I watched her face the whole time. She didn't interrupt once. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Then she said Kieran wouldn't do that. I told her I knew how much she loved him and I wouldn't be sitting there if I wasn't certain. She said I must have misunderstood what I saw. I told her I'd been standing 3 feet away and there was nothing to misunderstand. She looked at her hands and I let the silence sit there. She called Kieran that evening while I was still sitting at her kitchen table. I heard her side of it from the kitchen. Her voice was steady but different, the way a voice sounds when it's working hard to stay that way. I don't know exactly what he said. When she came back in, she sat down and didn't speak for a moment. Then she said he'd told her I'd always been jealous of him. I told her that might be true and it didn't change what I saw. She nodded slowly. That was all. Kieran hasn't been round since that call. My mom says Nan had a locksmith in the following week. Nan and I still have tea on Fridays. She hasn't mentioned Kieran once and I haven't pushed her. Some things people need to carry quietly before they can put them down. I'm not her favorite. I never was. But I was there on a Tuesday in March when it mattered and she knows that now. Subscribe for more stories.